Greetings, Eric Bakker. Thanks for coming back. It's always good to see a familiar face. You may see a lot of videos on the Candida Crusher YouTube channel, and there are plenty more to come. Be sure, after watching this video, to check out the playlist on CanXida videos. There are several videos made regarding CanXida Restore, Remove and Rebuild, but also on CanXida in general. How to take the product, what to expect, how much to take, how much not to take, when to take it, when not to take it. All those questions should be answered in the videos I've created on CanXida in the playlists on the Candida Crusher channel. You'll find them there. So today we're going to talk about how I created this product range. Before I do that, I might pull this curtain shade down a bit because it's a bit bright in here. It's a bit better. As you can see, my videos aren't really scripted or jump cuts or all that kind of stuff that they call it these days. I don't really do any of that kind of stuff. I just talk, record, and then post. I find that easiest. So my apologies if there's things like me drinking water or a bit of a lag here or there, but that's just how it is. So I created the CanXida range. If you go to CanXida.com, you can read a lot more about the specific reasons, why I created, how I created it, for example. But how this product range came about was probably born through my frustration after many years in the clinic using all kinds of different products and getting fair to average results with most product ranges I use. Some products would be a little bit better, some less, and some are actually therapeutically quite useless. So CanXida was born out of many, many years in the clinic, 30 years in the clinic, almost 30 years when I created the product range. And at that stage in my career, I've been working with many different companies and been involved with many different leading manufacturers like Douglas Laboratories, Thorne Research, Dr. Wilson's Original Formulations, Allergy Research, Research Nutritionals, the list goes on and on and on. So I know most companies that supply products to practitioners globally. I know the raw materials, I know the supply chain, where they come from. I go to all the key raw material expos, and I travel quite a lot to the States for this reason. And more recently to Europe, going to Europe to the large expos over there. So mainly to network up with the right kind of people, the people who understand botanical medicine, who understand nutritional medicine, who really have studied in depth the probiotics. I learned a lot more about probiotics in the last 2 or 3 years just by going to these expos and conferences and seminars, talking to people who actually make probiotics and talking to the laboratory technicians and people behind the scenes, but also working for many, many years in conjunction with people who also work like I do to see what works and what doesn't work. After a while, you get to learn what's probably the best approach when it comes to healing the gut from leaky gut, working on SIBO, working on parasites and Candida. What are the most effective tools we can use to give us the shortest possible treatment duration with the highest possible return and health for the person for the lowest possible price? So some people say to me, Eric, your products are too pricey. We can't afford, $59 for a bottle of CanXida Remove. That's fine. I'll grant you that one. It is an expensive product. CanXida Restore is expensive. All of these products are not cheap, but excellent health is not cheap either. Okay, and the price is long forgotten when the health returns, when the quality of health comes back. Thousands of people have used CanXida products now with very, very good results. So how this product range came about initially was my frustration, and then trying to switch different brands and trying different types of antimicrobials and antifungals, getting a lot of experience using caprylic acid and understanding its shortcomings, getting a lot of experience using undecanoic acid or SF722 from Thorne Research and understanding its shortcomings. And I can say the same for oregano oil, I can say the same for neem extract, berberine, all of the different antimicrobials I used. I started to get an understanding and feeling for how powerful they were, what pathogens they worked on, what microbes they worked on, how they affected the gut in terms of the beneficial bacteria. This takes a long time to gain this knowledge. And most of it was shaped through repeated stool testing, literally thousands of stool tests, If you were to see how many filing cabinets we've got and how many boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of patient files, it's crazy how much stuff I've accumulated over 35 years. I've got a whole room full of patient files. I've always kept paper files. I'm not an electronic kind of person who types everything up like that. I prefer to write notes in a patient file and then have Tracy file them for me. And then, of course, you know, when the patient comes along, I can still pull out a file from 28 years ago. Bang, just like that. It's incredible. Try that with your computer stuff. You know, it's probably all blown up or burnt out or goodness knows what. So when you accumulate data and clinical knowledge, and you also have the knowledge from working with people, you tend to amass this information and think, I can make something better. I can make something that's going to achieve, you know, a very powerful therapeutic effect in a shorter period of time. So this is how CanXida was born about. And then also the relentless nature that I have in trying to make something that's really, really good. I've been inspired by several people over the years who make outstanding dietary supplements. I'm not going to mention their names or companies, give any of that information away, but I've got some very good friends in this field who make products for exceptionally large companies. So, and again, playing pool and having a few beers with people like that, you soon learn a lot of extra knowledge. So all these layers of knowledge give you the ability then to network up with the correct manufacturer, to hunt down the correct raw materials, but that's when the fun begins, is actually putting that product together. We had a huge amount of problems when we first started to make CanXida Remove. We had an incredible amount of problems with compression, for example, with the tablets falling apart, where the manufacturer had to work out the correct amount of moisture required to compress these tablets, how much compression was required. Because we don't use a lot of heat and a lot of excipients with our products, it's much trickier to make these. And one of the most challenging aspects was the sustained release part of the product, was making products like CanXida Rebuild and Remove in a sustained released form, meaning when you swallow them, they don't just get, you know, the digestive system doesn't get access immediately to all of these materials, but over a period of several hours, it slowly breaks down in the gut. Now, likely the supplements you're taking are not sustained released. They weren't put together by someone with experience. They were likely put together by a company who's got 1,000 other products, and they paid lip service to making antimicrobial. They've just put out a berberine product or an oregano product. Now, this is expensive. So if you're trying to hunt down, you know, products to clean up your gut, let's say, for example, you've got Klebsiella, you've got Citrobacter you want to get rid of, you've got a bit of Candida there, you may have Blastocystis. So you have 3 or 4 problem areas in your gut you want to clean up. You're likely to look at 3 or 4 separate products, which is going to cost you a lot more than, you know, the price tag of CanXida Remove. So it may be a pricey supplement, but it works out to be quite cost effective, you know, when you look at one product that targets multiple areas at the same time. The other thing I want you to look at is your product, not just sustained released, which it likely isn't, but does your product contain standardized microbials? You know, meaning the herbal medicines you use, are they standardized? Are the active ingredients pushed up to a higher amount? Meaning you get a better therapeutic activity. And this is why CanXida costs money, because these materials are expensive. So yeah, it might seem pricey, but the results are there for most people who use these products. So there you have it. That's a bit of information about how and why CanXida was created. I still have plans for making a few other CanXida products. I've been talking a lot about CanXida Boost. So Boost is a product now that's been on the drawing board for over 18 months. I'm still trying to track down one of the ingredients for this product, and that will likely be an encapsulated product. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag. It's going to be a very exciting product because it partners perfectly with CanXida Remove to boost the ability of this product range to really clean up all sorts of stuff inside the digestive tract with minimal discomfort to the patient. Particularly with some of the more difficult to kill Candida species coming out now. Candida auris, for example, Candida glabrata, Candida parallopsilosis. So these are tough nuts. These are, I consider the Darth Vader of the Candida species. And they're not that easy to take out with a standard under cyanoic acid or caprylic acid. You're not going to take these guys out with a standard thing like that. You need something with more punch. So you've got to punch quite hard and high to clean the gut up with many different species, particularly when you've got an invasive nature of multiple species in the gut at the same time. SIBO and Candida together, or what we now call SIFO, small intestinal fungal overgrowth. So many people have SIFO and SIBO combined. And then they have a problem in their colon as well, with low levels of beneficial bacteria. So my pursuit is going to be relentless in the next few years, particularly with the probiotics, is an area that I'm very keen on to create some superb products, top notch. I've got a manufacturer I'm working with now, a raw material supplier who I believe makes the world's finest probiotics. So we're probably going to work with these guys again and then look at a whole bunch of studies on Candida to work out the best possible lactobacillus in particular that's going to help to target these Candida, invasive Candida species. So when you've got a mindset like I have, where you're interested in really helping people and always striving to find the best possible solution, you tend to get a good outcome. And I want to thank everybody through this video for supporting me, both through the clinic and also looking at my product range, because it's enabling me to do greater work and better work, for many, many people. I can only see a limited amount of people in my clinic, but as you're aware, my clinic is closing down the end of this year, which allows me more time to spend on research and development and education, which is my primary focus. So when I pass away, I hope to have left behind a huge body of information that many people can profit from, hopefully for many more years to come. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's a little bit about CanXida and why I created it and how I created this product. And there you have it. Thanks for tuning in.